Hey, carnivores, long time no talk. Today is day 83 of the Carnivore Diet, and it's weigh-in day. And today, I have a big plate of inside skirt steak. Now, I wouldn't say it's as flavorful as outside skirt steak, but it's not half bad. Not half bad. We had some miscellaneous stuff over the weekend. We had some chicken sausage that was all grass-fed with feta cheese and I think basil inside of it. We had some kielbasa that was all natural grass-fed animal products that were used. No fillers, no additives, no hooves, no feet, no toes, no teeth, no hair. No cotton, no fiber, all the other crap they put in shit. And then we had some top sirloin steak as well. We had as leftovers and stuff. So I had a small piece that I ate already while I was waiting for this to be cooked, and that's really about it. So November, I'm gonna actually start my whole workout regimen. And I got different days on my phone saved of like what muscle group I do. And I've been periodically doing it, screwing around and stuff for, the whole month of October. But, tomorrow's Halloween. So tomorrow, make sure you put your mask on. You don't want the ghouls, the demons, and creatures that are going to come out to take you. And that's why we dress up for Halloween, is so that we blend in with the rest of them. It's real the idea of it. It's not going around getting drunk and dressing like sluts or going around getting candy from people next door. That was good. There was a little too much pepper. That was okay. Anyway. Very chewy. So, I made this large order of food over the weekend from Wild Fork for multiple reasons. One, I like having food. That's how I got so fat now. I hate going to the store, as most everybody knows, but that's not the reason. So, you never know when the next, carnivore diet, coronavirus is going to, appear out of thin air again. A bat with 3 eyes, lands on a church and, the news says everybody dies. Bat was engineered by people in Pakistan or some crap. Whatever the fuck they come up with. If the news only told the good things that were going on, nobody would watch the news. So they got to come up with these bullshit stories so people watch them. That's all it is. If you ever look at half the shit on TV, they're like, there was a reckless driver on the highway and he hit a tree and he killed all these people. Meanwhile, you're like, I was on that highway. There was absolutely no accident. I was there at the exact same time. Fake news. But then you get to work and someone's like, oh my God, how did you survive the accident? I'm like, what planet are you on? There was nobody on the highway. But anyway, so I always like to be prepared. Plus, you look at the meal. So, like, basically everything from Wild Fork that I've come across so far that's in packaging, unless it's like a big piece of steak, you can make it out of meal. So, like, for example, I tried to go for the smallest pack of top sirloin steak. Skirt steak over here. But this really could have got cut up into 2 meals. But I got some of them that extend, beyond the camera range. They're like the size of a rack of ribs. Like, there you go. For an example, a rack of ribs. A package of a rack of ribs is 1 meal for 2 people. So, when I buy stuff from Wild Fork, I look at the items and then I think about, how many meals I can get on them. So basically, long story short, The food that I had left in my main freezer in my house, we did the math on it. We counted everything on what the packages and the containers, and just the freezer alone, we had, I think, like almost 30 days out of the freezer. And then we got the deep freezer that holds obviously more. So we bought basically the equivalent of, I think, 4 months worth of food. So we have, 4 months plus the 30, that's 5. So we could probably make it until like next order is like July maybe, give or take. Because we got November, December, January, February, March. But then also you got things like, oh, here's another thing. We found an actual ham that's safe for you, which is a Berkshire ham. They come from England, from pigs that are not, Americanized, molested, as I'm going to call them. Because in America, we pump things for hormones and crap and fillers and shit, and then feed it to the general population and cross our fingers and hope nobody dies. Which then I had the epiphany on why this happens. So, give me 1 second. It's talking to me. So, I'll bounce backwards and bounce back forward. Today was weigh-in day, like I was saying earlier. And my mother and I both lost 2 pounds each, so that's good. Anyway, so I kind of been like sitting here twirling around in my head. Why is all the stuff that they make for you that's supposed to be good and healthy actually is the worst thing for you? And then the things that taste good, like candy and crap, is even worse. You can get more cancers from eating certain food than you can from a cigarette. It's wild when you actually read the shit that's in these bags. It's scary. You can eat, I forgot what it was. It was one type of food we were doing research on. And the ham. Duh. You can get a ham that's not even real ham. I think I said it in one of my last videos. It's like molded meat. You could smoke cigarettes, a pack a day for 30 years, and have a 50-50 chance of getting cancer. Or you can have a ham every Thanksgiving for 30 years, and you have a definite chance of getting cancer. 99.1%. Crazy, right? Not saying cigarettes are better than ham, but I'm just pointing out the real facts. It's scary as shit. So, we end up finding a company that doesn't do all that bad shit. So, I'm sitting there going, why the hell is it okay that we feed the population this garbage? And it dawned on me. A lot of my past relationships, there was one thing all of them had in common, and not that they're my exes, is that whenever their family had a party, 90% of the food that wasn't eaten, people didn't take home with them. They didn't put it in a container in the fridge for later. It went in the garbage. So, like, one of my last exes, let's say this was a plate of food for everybody. And all that was left was this big piece of meat. Would it go in the fridge? No. Would somebody take it home? Probably not, because most people didn't. It would end up in the garbage. So, food companies came up with an idea. Being that certain resources are so valuable, if we're going to give, like, how many times you see people that have hams or turkeys for Thanksgiving, and they throw like 40% of it away? It's so much work cutting all this off the bone. They'll throw it away. It's amazing the amount of food. You see it at restaurants. I guarantee if you look around a restaurant anytime you go, and you probably did it yourself, and I know I've done it myself as well. I'm not innocent of this shit either. I remember one time I went out to eat, and I didn't like the meal. Just didn't like it. I went out to have breakfast with a bunch of friends. The pancakes had no flavor. They're supposed to be like blueberry pancakes. They tasted like poo berry. Didn't even taste like blueberry. Had no blueberries in them to begin with, so that was kind of like probably the first inkling. And I said, pancakes. And I was like, they had asked me how many you want. 4, and they gave me 8. But charged me for 4. They're like, whoever was working that day just couldn't count, correctly. And then they had some sausages, and they had some bacon. And I love bacon. Their bacon was crap. It was overcooked. I could barely bite it without breaking my teeth. So I had like 4 strips of bacon that I didn't even touch, and one of them I took a nibble out of. The sausage was like an old man's wiener. It was so fucking brown and shriveled up. You didn't even want to. I like grabbed it, and I like stuck it half in my mouth, and the texture was just like, ugh. So that was it. It was 4 pieces of sausage. And then the pancakes, I had 3 of them. And I was it. I wasn't even that hungry. I don't eat breakfast. I was dragged to this fucking diner. And, I had all this food that I just threw away. I didn't want it. I didn't like it. They took it off the bill. Probably half of that shit wasn't even real. I mean, the bacon, I could have, like, fucking, used it to stab somebody with. And the sausage was, like, it was bouncy. It was rubbery, just... As soon as I stuck it in my mouth, I knew something wasn't right. So I stick this in my mouth, and I can actually taste, the blood. I can taste the muscles. I can taste meat. Ever since I've been on this diet, food tastes different. It's like the weirdest way of explaining shit. Things taste different, but they taste different in a good way. So I think because Americans throw away so much food that, like, for example, like animals that are grass fed with no hormones, no pesticides, none of this crap. They're different. They're smaller. They're of the size that they're probably supposed to be. Not probably, but the size that they're supposed to be, but not the way we were taught in school and stuff. And school is basically a device to program young brains into believing, very strict order of operations, because the more people who go on the outside of the way society and the government and stuff, the more dangerous we become. And honestly, that's just something I believe, because if you really think about it, just the amount of things that are so taboo. This diet is taboo amongst most people. I try to explain them everything about it. They right away, like, they shut the door. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to hear it. And they'll sit there and eat their crap. And if I grab like a bag or the container they're eating or drinking from, right away it's like, whoa, 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 whoa! I don't want to know what's in it. Oh. Don't you want to live your life as long as you can? I don't care. Okay. I've known people that, and including myself at one point, they wake up in the morning at 3 a.m. and they don't fully awake until like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's bad. Very chewy. Section that I cut. Me, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm usually dressed by 3:30. I have a cup of coffee. And I'm usually awake by usually by the time the cup of coffee even is not even in my hand yet. I used to be like so drowsy and groggy every morning. But that's because I was also drinking a lot. I was drinking very heavy, so a lot of that plays a major toll on your body when it comes to that. Now I actually get like a full night's sleep. In my past, I used to have restless night syndrome from I didn't know what, and I believe it was from the alcohol and the poor diet. Now, if I go to sleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I will literally be asleep all the way until my first alarm goes off. Before, I would sleep for like 20 minutes, half an hour to an hour, half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, 20 minutes. Like, I never got a full night's sleep. So, there was a lot of times I was up at all hours of the night. And I would just be tired. I would be a zombie all day. I would come home from work so tired and exhausted, I didn't want to do anything. Now when I come home from work, I'm not tired and exhausted. I just want to relax. I want to relax because Friday night into the weekend is more or less when I really start hammering on different things that I got to get done in my life. Stuff around the house type of shit. But other than that, it's been a long, long week before I've said anything past. Tomorrow's Halloween. Be careful what you ingest. And unfortunately, there's too much bad stuff out there to really worry about. I think candy corn they finally stopped making. That was like one of the world's worst things. You could wax your car with candy corn, and your car's finish will be immaculate. You stick it in your body, and you have like instant stomach discomfort, and then you're in and out of the bathroom, and so many things have changed. I remember at one point in time I used to love Swedish fish. It was great. I tried it like this past year before the diet, and it just tasted like I took like a bar of cannabis wax and just stuck it in my mouth. It had no flavor like it used to. It tasted weird. And when I looked that up online, I found a forum of people talking about the same shit and then how they changed their recipe. It's bad, man. It's bad news. But anyway, carnivores out there, get on the diet, stay healthy. I'm going to be ingesting a lot of protein over the next couple of months. Basically, so when I'm working out, I can really build some muscle up quick. What's great is this is all natural, safe protein for building muscle. So if you want to build muscles and look like Lou Ferrigno, then I'd say get yourself a bunch of protein, eat a bunch of beef, eat a bunch of meat before you work out. That's it, man. You don't have to have the powders. You don't have to do the shakes. You don't have to do the drinks. You don't have to do any of the chemicals. Natural, all natural protein. Eat it. Let it digest for 20 minutes. Then fucking hit the weights. Anyway, carnivores out there, stay hungry. See you next Monday.